are at Hill Country, and I'm here with Lee Schrager. Thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So today, we are talking about fried chicken, which I think is everybody's favorite topic.
Certainly mine.
Certainly picked a topic that people like. But so your new book is Fried and True, and it's a collection of fried chicken recipes from across the country. Why did you feel like there were enough variations in fried chicken to have a whole book?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know that I did feel there was, I don't know that going into it, I did not really know that there were going to be enough variations, right. And more importantly, that there would be so many different ways to photograph it. Right. I had great concerns about, oh my God, it's going to be that same photo, you know, this brown or mandarin glazed chicken.
Yeah, beautiful.
I was really concerned, and after day one in New Orleans, our first stop, and we went to 8 different restaurants, I'm like, wow. There is not one chicken that tastes the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You know, it could be the same chicken, the same flour, the seasonings change, the oil that people fry in change. It's really amazing that for the simplest of foods to prepare, it can taste so different and really look so different.
And why do you think there is so much variation in fried chicken? Is it because it's a classic, or is it because it really lends itself to so many different preparations?
I think like pizza, I think like burger, I think like any comfort food, empanadas, tortillas, everyone has their own fried chicken recipe.
Right.
And more importantly, what I learned from the road trip is everyone has their own fried chicken story.
And let's talk about what makes the best fried chicken in your opinion now, because you really at this point have sampled the entire country worth of fried chicken. What do you think makes a good fried chicken? Like, what are the ingredients that you think are essential, always work?
I think there are two. I mean, you speak to 10 people, you get 10 different answers.
Right.
In my mind, having sampled, 1,687,000 pieces of fried chicken, I think brining or not to brine, and we have a whole chapter in the book about brining or not to brine. I think the seasoning, and most importantly, and hard to imagine or hard for me to believe, the oil that you fry in.
Right.
So whether you're using lard or whether you're using canola or peanut oil or vegetable oil or bacon fat, it really changes the taste. You can have the exact same recipe. So I can have this great Hill Country fried chicken recipe here, or I can have Andrew Carmelini's recipe from the Dutch. Same ingredients, and you fry one in lard and you fry one in canola oil or peanut oil versus bacon.
Right.
It changes the whole taste. And that to me was the most interesting thing to learn, how the cooking ingredient, the oil, could really affect the chicken so much.
And so for you, on your personal opinion, do you come out brine or no brine? Do you come out all, because like I'm a lard girl, you said you weren't, so like what are the ones that you say, like if you're gonna come down on one side, where do you fall?
I think it all depends on how much time you have. I mean, if you're coming home from work at 5:30 and your partner, your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister wants fried chicken, and you have a chicken in your refrigerator, you don't have time to brine it. Truthfully, I would buy a kosher chicken, because really what brining is really a salt.
Right.
So I would really buy a kosher chicken, follow the same preparation. Tyler Florence has one of my favorite recipes, but it involves brining. I used a kosher chicken the last time I made it a few weeks ago, and it tasted almost as good, and that's spectacular fried chicken, as when I had brined it the day before and went through this process and bought the buttermilk and Tabasco. So I think it's up to the individual.
When people think of fried chicken, they tend to think of the South, but you have recipes from all over. How did you find the variation, from region to region, from city to city? I mean, how is that regional variation in play?
I think a lot of it has to do with seasoning, spices.
Right.
If you look at our chapter on the Pacific Northwest, Dale Talde has a fantastic Kung Pao chicken wing in there that has this wonderful pepper and anita, which is a great spice, kind of a nutmeggy spice. So it really comes down, I think, not only to the oil that we spoke about, but to the seasonings. Ultimately, rice flour, self-rising flour, lily white flour affects the chicken. I think the two biggest things are the oil that you fry in and the seasoning that really affects it.
And what did you find about the ease of making fried chicken? Because I think a lot of people say to themselves, well, I like to go out for fried chicken, but I don't really necessarily want to make it at home. It's too difficult. I mean, how did you come out on this now? Are you making it at home a lot?
Clearly I made it a lot in the last 4 months. About 11 pounds worth. Not of chicken on me. I think what I've learned is, when we were growing up and I wanted my mom to make fried chicken, it was always, oh my God, it's such, a production, such a mess, I don't have the time. And when I started this, I called my mom, I said, hey, what were you doing wrong? This can be done in 45 minutes. I think the key to making great fried chicken is your preparation and having all the right ingredients. I think like anything, it's all about your mise en place, having your ingredients ready, and having a program, being organized. Cooking to me is all about organization. If you can read, you can cook. What I always do when I make fried chicken, a secret tip that I can share is, you know, I think one of the big concerns making anything fried, whether it's eggplant chicken or whatever it may be, is that, you know, the odor that people feel that it leaves. Of course, I love that odor.
Right,
but
I like the fried
whenever
chicken.
I make fried chicken at home, I always have a pot of boiling water on the stove and like a vanilla or an incense, so it really takes that fat or the grease out of the air. Just like when you're selling a home, they always say to do that.
Yeah.
When you're making fried chicken, put a pot of water with an incense or a stick of cinnamon or clove, and it gets rid of it immediately.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. The book is Fried and True, and it is full of some incredible recipes. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Really appreciate it.